Hello and welcome once again to GP Notebook TV. I'm Dr. Roger Henderson. I'm one of the GP Notebook Study Group presenters. And today I wanted to look at an article which interested me at the end of 2024, which I think has significant potential implications for us working in primary care. And this was a study that looked at vaping among adults in England who have never regularly smoked. This was a population-based study published in Lancet Public Health in October 2024, and it looked at a group of people from 2016 to 2024. Now, until recently, e-cigarette use, or vaping to give its more common name, in England was almost exclusively, for the most part, in people with a history of tobacco smoking in the past. And e-cigarettes were widely used by smokers and ex-smokers, often to support smoking cessation or cutting down, but rarely used by people who had never regularly smoked before. Now, however, since the introduction of new disposable use and throw devices to the market in 2020 to 2021, which appears to have driven a rapid rise in vaping prevalence since that time, unfortunately, especially in the under 18 age group, this is no longer the case. Now, although the absolute rise in vaping prevalence has been most pronounced amongst current or past smokers, there has also been an incidence amongst those who have never regularly smoked. And what this study aimed to understand more about adult vapers in England who have never regularly smoked, including the extent to which the increase in vaping prevalence has been observed across different subgroups of never regular smokers, was how far it reflected daily or non-daily use of vapes now. It also aimed to assess the profile of adult never regular smokers who now vape. And the study was a representative monthly cross-sectional survey in England where over 150,000 adults aged over 18 were recruited, and just under 2/3 of these people had never regularly smoked. Now, logistic regression techniques estimated associations between this survey wave and current vaping overall, and also by socio-demographic characteristics as well as alcohol consumption. And the study basically found that vaping prevalence among never regular smokers was relatively stable up to 2021, at an average of around 0.5% between July 2016 and December 2020. But what then happened is it increased rapidly, reaching 3.5% in April 2024. And this increase was largely driven by young adults and those with higher alcohol consumption levels. By contrast, trends amongst all adults, including current and former smokers, suggested the rise in vaping prevalence plateaued among all ages by early 2023. In 23-24, 55% of never regular smokers who vaped reported vaping daily, and 81% had been vaping for 6 months or more. Now, the most used devices in 23-24 were disposable use and throw types, and the most commonly used e-liquids contained 20 milligrams per mil or more of nicotine. Now, the basic interpretation of this study is that the number of adults in England who vape but have never regularly smoked did rise rapidly between 2021 and 2024, particularly in younger age groups, and most of these individuals reported vaping regularly over a sustained period. The public health impacts of this will depend on what these people would otherwise be doing if not vaping. And I think we can safely assume that it is likely that some of these might have smoked tobacco if vaping were not an available option, and by doing so, exposing them to more harm from the inhalation of tobacco smoke, whereas others might not have smoked or vaped at all. In summary, if vaping was only being taken up by people who would otherwise smoke, we would expect the total proportion of adults who either smoke or vape to remain stable or decline. However, during the period that disposable vapes have become popular in Great Britain, the proportion of adults who smoke or vape does now appear to have increased. Now, this change does suggest there are people who would not have otherwise taken up smoking who have now started to vape on a regular basis. Now, given that there's evidence from biomarker studies showing greater concentrations of toxicants in vapors than non-users, these people will probably be exposed to more harm than they would have if they weren't vaping at all. So this study once again helps to reinforce some basic points about vaping. As a smoking cessation tool used as nicotine replacement therapy in adult smokers over the age of 18 as part of an organised quit attempt, along with input from a primary healthcare professional, this can be a very effective way of helping our smokers quit their tobacco habit. However, anyone who has never smoked, and certainly anyone under the age of 18, should never smoke or vape. The best smoker continues to be one who is free of both tobacco and e-cigarettes, and we should continue to do all we can to help our patients who smoke to go both tobacco and vape free. Now, new government initiatives starting in 2025 may help here, but smokers still trust us as GPs to give them the best advice we can to help them quit. And we should always remember to make every contact count with these patients accordingly. So I do hope you found that quick overview of this interesting study helpful, and thank you so much for watching. Until next time, goodbye.